Yes, you got it too. Because the next speaker of today is a guy who is, and I'm going to say it one more time out loud, going to stand on the TEDx stage one day. Inspiring, amazing man to tap into their heart and be their vulnerable, awesome self and create a ripple effect by true masculine authenticity. The next speaker of today is someone who I proudly call a friend as well, Eamon. Eamon, tell us the junk food paradox, how indulging in your cravings can lead to your dream body. The floor is yours, man. The floor
Thank
is
you,
yours.
Lori. Thank you. Thank you. So normally this is a time at the beginning of a speech where I might share, how many businesses I've created or, what authority I have and how much money I've made. But instead, I'm so thankful that in my line of work, really all I have to do at this point is, but before this wasn't always the case because 7 years ago, I was actually a software engineer and I'd hunch over at my desk and I had these two massive monitors in front of me. And there was two things about me that were true. I loved solving complex problems and I had my Diet Coke on my left. I had my Chinese food on the right and I loved food. I loved it. It was convenient. It was fun. And I just loved delicious food that I could gobble down and then get right back to work. And it was awesome because I had more money than I knew what to do. I was working at a top tech company and I was starting to earn the respect of my coworkers because I was the least experienced person in the room. I was 22, 23 at the time. Everything was great until I got home. And after 6 months of really working hard, if you've ever been there trying to make a name for yourself, earn the respect of a place you maybe didn't feel like you always belonged, I'd take my shirt off and I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. And I'd been active my whole life, but when I'd go to the restroom, I'd sit down. I felt this kind of like fold as I'm bending over, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Has anyone been there? Anyone else in a place where you want to improve your health and well-being? You want to get in better shape? Who knows what they need to do, but they're not doing it? Who feels so overwhelmed with all the new diet fads and workout programs that are coming out now? And we're stuck trying to figure out what's the best choice for us today. Now, yes. Now, that's where I was. And I could have gone stuck in perfection, but I needed to change because I was a 23-year-old guy. I had more money than I knew what to do with, and I was single. And I was excited for the next chapter of my life. And I wasn't happy with the way my body was. So, what do you think any single guy that's 22, 23 years old, right out of college, what would be their dream goal, body? For me, it was Zac Efron in Baywatch. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but Zac Efron, he had the abs. He was like the lifeguard at Baywatch. He was so beautiful. He had the girls. He had the confidence. He had everything I wanted. And I was like, I'm on a mission. So then where do we go when we have a new fitness goal, right? Where do we go for information? Put in the chat. Where do you find your solution? Google, internet, right? YouTube, bookstore. So for me, I found this one YouTube video. And it was this, at the time, it was like 2017. It was a spin class, the cycling. And it was an intense spin class, 5 days a week, 40 minutes, killing yourself. And then afterwards, you'd have this really healthy meal. And almonds were part of the meal. Now, I am an engineer. And one of the aspects of being an engineer is you're kind of lazy. You like having the code work for you so you can just relax. So for me, doing endless cardio just sucked. But I wanted to look like Zac Efron. So I bit my lip. I just locked in and I said, I'm going to do this thing. And so I was killing myself. I was going every single day, 5 days a week. I was eating clean. I mean, I was sweating like a dog and everything was perfect. Like omega 3s, I was omega 10. All right. I was dialed. And 1 month goes by, 3 months goes by. I'm still working hard. I hate it, but it should work, right? And remember, this workout program had millions of views. It was viral. 7 months goes by and I'm like, okay, let's see how much progress I've made. I don't really see it in the mirror, but it takes time. We got to look like Zac Efron. You can't have that overnight. So I get on the scale after 7 months. You want to guess how many pounds I lost? Put it in the chat. 5, 2, 23. How about -1? -1. So in that moment, you can imagine I felt like something was massively wrong with me. I mean, this workout program had millions of views. Everyone in the comments was so happy. And all of a sudden, I'm left with half of a year gone, doing something I hate, getting farther from my goal. And I really wanted to quit. I really did. But the engineer side of my mind didn't let me sleep. The engineer side was like, you can build operating systems from scratch. You can build APIs and systems that millions of people use. And you can't explain this one? And part of me was like, something's massively wrong with me. But the engineer side said, so be it. But explain exactly what's wrong with you. Like, if you can't break that down, what are you doing? So I was like, okay, fine. And I would stay up nights trying to figure out what the heck's happening. Why am I not getting the results everyone else is? And then I came across a very interesting number that changed my life. This number was 1 pound equals 3,500 calories. And, I'm sure a lot of us know about calories and calorie deficit, but then I thought about it. I said, I just gained 1 pound. So how the hell did 3,500 calories just slip their way in, right? Because I'm killing myself doing cardio. So what would an engineer like me do? I'd go on Amazon. I buy an Apple Watch. And then I start tracking it. Got to get the data. I track it. And for a whole week consistently, because I don't want to just do 1 day's worth, I average it. I was burning 500 calories doing my spin class. 500. And I said, okay, that's great. So then where is it coming from? And then I looked, and the only other thing I had changed in my plan was my diet, the almonds. I'm like, but almonds are healthy. The engineer side said, you better analyze that. Look at that. And so I bought a weight scale. I went to the office. I had a bowl and I weighed exactly how much the almonds were. You want to guess how many calories just the bowl of almonds was that I was eating every single day right after working out? Peter, 500, 3,500, 1,000. Yeah, it was 750. And in that moment, I'll never forget it. I realized more time was never going to get me to Zac Efron. In fact, more time working harder would have taken me farther. And actually, nothing was wrong with me. I just didn't know I was overeating, doing something I thought I needed to do that I actually hated. And then I got so curious because I thought, okay, nothing's wrong with me. If doing what I hated wasn't going to get me to my goal, could I take the cardio out and could I somehow create the deficit without doing what I hated? Then I looked at the Chinese food on my left at work. I weighed it, measured it, 1,400 calories. That shit made me tired. That shit made me want to take a nap in the middle of the day. Yes, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't benefiting my life. So just like with the almonds, I looked into the Chinese food. I said, none of this stuff actually satisfies me. You know what else I like? I like, burgers. Let me make my own burger. And instead of the 80-20 ground beef, let's do 96-4. Let's get a little leaner. Let's take the cheese that everyone says is so unhealthy. And now I had a little more curiosity. I was like, could we do fat-free cheese? Is there a way to reduce the calories but keep the cheese? And all of a sudden, I had a burger that was 400 calories, 50 grams of protein. And then I said, wait, let me have two burgers at 800. So all of a sudden, I have more food, more protein, and it's 600 calories less than the Chinese food. And it never even made me crash. So all of a sudden, I've saved more calories eating more food without doing any cardio. And so I eat it, I enjoy it. And then the ultimate test comes. A week later, I just do this. I step on the scale and I lost a pound. So it works. This wasn't a concept anymore to me. I was like, oh, damn. And then week 2 goes by. I say, what else am I going to swap? Okay, I like ice cream. Okay, can I make a protein ice cream? Can I make it at home? Can I make it from scratch? Week 3, I lose 3 pounds. Week 4, I lose 4 pounds. And so I asked myself the question, could I see myself continuously doing this? Because I couldn't do it with the old protocol. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, this is fun. So then I start to bring the protein ice cream to work. And for lunch, I start having the protein ice cream. And I remember my coworkers would come in and they'd say, Eamon, I thought you were trying to lose weight. What are you eating ice cream for? And then I would remember the almonds. And I'd say, I am losing weight. And they're like, that doesn't even make sense. And I say, actually, let me sit down and explain to you what I've learned. And I break down the science of it, and I could see their eyes. Like, I could see that they were in the same place I was. Like, but that's not healthy. And I'd say, well, here's what my definition of health meant. And I just want to lose weight on my own terms. And so they started getting on board, and I started explaining to them. And then one weekend, I was going to go visit my parents. They live like 40 minutes south from me in San Francisco. And I don't know if you know about Persian parents, but Persian moms especially have a very specific way of showing their love. They give you a lot of food, a lot. And for me at the time, I saw a lot of calories. You know, how am I going to go home and lovingly tell my mom, am I going to reject her love and say, I can't eat these things? Has anyone else been there? Where you're on a goal, you're very dialed, and then all of a sudden the people in your life start to become a concern where you have to choose between your goals and satisfying the people in your life, and you're not sure if they're going to get it. Anyone been there? Yes. They feed you up. So I remember I'm on the train and I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? And then I thought about my coworkers, and I said, well, they're on board. They didn't give me they understood what I wanted. So I sat down, I got home with my mom, and I said, hey mom, I'm going to I have something to share with you that I've been learning. And first of all, my mom sees me and she goes, your face, it's so much leaner. What happened? And so I sit her down and I explain the story of the almonds, and I explain what I got stuck with, and that I'm having fun creating these foods. And all of a sudden my mom's eyes start lighting up. She says, that's so fascinating. Send me some. And so I send her some recipes that I found on Instagram. And I said, if we swap these things for these things, and all of a sudden, fast forward a few months later, my mom and I were in the kitchen cooking up a storm. She's like my nutrition almost coach now, because she loves cooking. I'm not the best cook, but she is. And so the information empowered her to have her support me on the journey. So now all of a sudden, this obstacle of someone that doesn't understand my goals is on my team. Because what I realized is the only reason in the past I felt like I had to make a decision between my goals and my family was because I wasn't clear with what I wanted. But once I was clear and I could explain it and I could enroll her in the process, everyone wants to be part of that. Everyone sees a little bit of themselves in it. My mom didn't want me to look like Zac Efron, but she did want me to get healthier. Then I get a call from one of my best friends, and he says, hey, brother, it's August of 2018 at the time. For my 29th birthday, I'm going to rent a penthouse villa suite in Las Vegas, bring a date. We're going to have the pool overlooking all of Las Vegas. I want to see you there. And I go, you bet I'm going to be Zac Efron in that pool. Like, clock's ticking. All of a sudden, this concept of Zac Efron became real. And I started to think about 3 months from now, and nothing was going to get in my way. And having a date really changed things for me because weddings would come in the way, life would get in the way, but all of a sudden I had something to stand on. A date. It made it real. October 19th, 2018. Now, with the help of my mom, with the help of my coworkers, with my team on my side, October 18th came, and in that pool, I wish I could show you a photo, was Zac Efron. Now, it's more like Eamon. But that's not where the story ends. Because after that day, all my friends told me, Eamon, what was possible? I didn't even realize it was possible. Like, you changed. I want some of that. How did that happen? And I finally had the chance to, with each one of my friends over the course of the next 14 months, I got each one of them in their dream body by listening for what they enjoyed. What was their schedule like? What were their superpowers? And I didn't tell them what to do, because if I did, I'd be just like another viral diet fad telling you to fit into the frame of what worked for someone else. But I really listened, and I asked them the question, what gets you excited? What are you already doing? And I started to beat them at their own game. If you like taste, here's more taste. Here's better protein ice cream. If you're not hitting your protein goals, you better eat 3 protein ice creams a day. If you don't have time to cook, here's an easy way to heat up something in the microwave, saves you time. And so once I did it for all my friends, last year, 2023, was the first year I opened this to the public. I said, okay, let's bring in someone else. And last year we did 100 transformations. Everyone from walks of life, different schedules, business owners, you name it. Because for me, the most fun thing was the discovery of what that plan was for each person. And then the ripple effect of once they brought on their team, hearing their wives and their friends message me, call me and say, this is crazy. It's changed my life. And that has been always the biggest joy. So if that speaks to you and you want to find out, hey, what does my dream fitness life look like? Where I don't feel overwhelmed, but I feel excited that I am enough, that I've always had the keys to the kingdom is right in front of me. It's on my desk, right next to me right now. Well, send me a message and let's chat. Because my favorite thing to do, whether it be you want to look like Zac Efron or not, it doesn't matter to me. It's just about designing a life you love, listening to what you really want, and blending the exercise science and the habits you want to build the body of your dreams. And that's something I've had for the last 7 years, every single day. Happy to be here. See you all.
Wow, who here feels like they want to have a chat with Eamon, or at least knows someone who wants to have a chat with Eamon? Like, how freaking awesome was this? And who doesn't want to be healthy in the way that aligns with your own life? And every time you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, I like myself. Look at me. That was absolutely phenomenal, Eamon. And I love how you incorporated your personal stories there. That was magnificent. Well done.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. And I see a big fat smile on your face. You done it. And there's one person here in the backstage who's still in the face of like, oh, all my peers were